Hey guys, this is Juno from homeschoolingalong.com, and today we'll go over what we use and how we use our curriculums for second grade. So let's get started and take a closer look. First thing I'm going to show you is on the back part of my son's desk, we have here a schedule that I printed out, that I made and printed out for them. I use Google Docs, and it basically used, I think, a calendar template. But if any of you, after seeing this, is interested in having it and then tweaking it to your own liking, just drop a comment below this video, and I'll forward you the template that I used. But anyway, this is our schedule for the week. It's the first year that I actually made a schedule for us, and it works very well because my kids wake up in the morning, they come, they get their books. I teach 3 different grades. They get their books, they look at the day, for example, Monday, and they know they have Phonics and Language, it's 1 book, and essentially writing, critical thinking, and so on. So they know exactly what to do. I don't have to keep asking, did you do this, did you do that? They just check off, they look at their schedule and they know what's expected from them. And this has worked out great for me. I divide it in a way where I know when I have activities, then I pick certain things that take less time. And so it will vary depending on how much and what you do. But definitely, I like having the daily schedule, here. I don't let it stress me out. If one day we don't do school, then Wednesday we go on and follow what I have in the list. And that has actually helped me compared to other years where I had to mentor, like, oh my gosh, we didn't do school yesterday, for example. What should we do today? And this way, it takes the guessing out of the game. I also put a little calendar here. My second grader likes to have a calendar. I didn't require this from him, but he actually likes having it. He likes highlighting his days. He knows exactly what day it is. It actually has helped him knowing dates. So it worked out in my benefit as well. And I keep it here in the back part of his desk. And if anybody is interested, this is Mickey IKEA desk. Very inexpensive. Before we go on and looking at the books, this is a checklist. I got this idea from Timberdoodle. When I ordered my custom kit in second grade with my eldest son, it came with a checklist. And then from there, I tweaked it to my liking, and I make my own now again from Google Docs. And it just works for me because every day that we do something, I check it off. Now everybody will be doing it differently. You might check off the pages that you do, the lessons that you do, just everything has to work for you. If it doesn't work for you, if it makes your life harder, then it's not for you. This is just another thing too. It gives me a way of keeping track of what we have and what we haven't done. I will be following this list and showing you what we use. So I will be going over what we use for language arts in second grade, what we use for math, what we use for critical thinking, STEM, history and geography, science, and art. Okay, so let's get started. Language arts. I have here that we use essentials in writing. And let me take it out. Okay, essentials in writing, I do have a whole YouTube review talking about level 1, 2, and 3. So I highly recommend you to go and check that video out because it will go into more detail. But basically, it is a DVD program. Let me see if I have because I took the DVDs out from the back. Here you go. It's a DVD program. Level 2 comes with 2 DVDs. So my son will pop the DVD into a portable DVD player. He will listen to his lesson, and then you do and then you'll do one page per lesson. It is really broken down in little chunks of information. They're very young. You don't want to overdo the whole writing thing because you don't want to scare them off and overwhelm them. And the first half of this book will teach them grammar, where the second half of this book will teach them writing comprehension. again, go ahead and check out my YouTube video where I review the whole product just to know if this will work for you or not. I don't want to go over any more into detail since I did a great review on it. Okay, for spelling, we use All About Spelling Level 3. So let me go get it. All About Spelling Level 3. Now, if you are new to All About Spelling, you have to do what we did last year and start again from Level 1. We were using a different spelling program last year, and we used it for the first half, and then we transitioned to All About Spelling. And last year, my son moved quickly through, and he did Level 1 and 2. Now, every child will be different, and you have heard probably this more than once, but it is true. I have my eldest child who moves much slower through spelling. He's not, I like to call it, a natural speller. So he needs the work, he needs the practice. It's a lot of labor for him to spell. Where my second-born, he's a natural speller. I feel like I haven't even taught him. It just comes natural to him. So he's on Level 3 this year. And All About Spelling, but I believe, whoops, sorry, these are all the inserts that come with it. All About Spelling, basically, we will do, step 1 will be lesson 1. We pretty much do maybe a lesson in a week, sometimes a week and a half. And then we are planned to finish the 28 lessons between this school year. I'm not rushing it because I really want him to understand and get it. And last year he was moving faster. This year you could tell that he can take the time to do the one lesson within a week and a half or so. So that's what we're using for spelling, and it takes about no longer than 15 minutes a day. We do not use, All About Spelling has the option of using physical tiles. We do not use the physical tiles, but instead we use the All About Spelling app. It's right here, and you will click on it. It's a Letter Tiles app by All About Spelling. It costs $20, and once you have access to it, you can use it for all of your children. And then right now it's I think my son used my oldest son used it. So for example, if you're doing Level 3 and you are on lesson 5, you would just pick it and you will have all the tiles that you need for that lesson. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay? And this works exactly as you had the material tiles, the actual tiles, but for us it works, it's much faster. I actually did not move on to I did not pick All About Spelling at the beginning of our homeschooling. It's because the physical tiles look like just too much work of organizing, disorganizing, storing, taking them out. And when the letter tiles came up, and I read all of the parents' wonderful reviews, and they were raving about it. They said it was a game changer. That's when I jumped on the All About Spelling wagon, and it's a fantastic program. So it works great for us. All right, next up, All About Homophones. All About Homophones, it is basically what it says, All About Homophones. It's a book all about homophones. It's a book from grades 1 to 8. You are allowed to make copies. So, and basically, let me show you how it is. So you have the homophones that you will cover by each grade. They are divided, grade 1, 2, 3. So each grade will tell you which homophones to cover. We are in grade 2, right? But because we have started this last year, and because the child that I'm speaking about, my second grader, is a little bit above the curve, the learning curve. I have one who's a little bit behind and one who's a little bit ahead. Nothing wrong with that. But for example, if you're going to do bear and bear, you'll go here. I make the copies, and they'll fill out. They have to basically pick for the sentence which bear is the correct bear. And then on the bottom, each one of them has either silly sentences for them to do, fun facts, They have some rhymes, tongue twisters. I think it was $20, this book. It was worth every single penny. So it's a very easy way to learn all about homophones. Sometimes I give them a homophone sheet more than once. So for example, there and there, we did it, they understood it, but then later on I saw my son still getting it wrong. So the day after, when it was the day to do homophones, I did there again. I think we did the there sheet 3 times so far, and then there's a 2, 2, and 2 sheet. We did it 3 times as well. And you just adjust it as you go. But the thing that I love about it, it's super easy and pretty fast and self-explanatory, and I'm all about that. Next online is Phonics and Language to Abeka. Yes, we do keep certain Abeka things, and one of the things are phonics and language. You might be asking why, because we use Essentials in Writing. Yes, you're right. Essentials in Writing is about writing, grammar and writing. This does cover a little bit of grammar, and I'm not sure whoever got hurt by a little bit extra grammar. And it does review all the phonics rules that, and all the phonics that my child has learned from K through 1st grade. So I bought this book at the end of his 1st grade, and we started it as a summer book during our prolonged summer break. And we actually got through half of it during our summer break, which I'll show you. This is August 27th. There you go. And we got home in September, and he got through half of the book. Okay, he did 136 pages. Strictly only 2 pages a day. The way that this works is the front part of the page is phonics. The back part of the page will be your language, basically grammar. It is very light, it's not a heavy thing for a 2nd grader to do. As you can see, they fill out, maybe some drawings, they'll match, they circle, they multiple choices answers. So as you can see, it's a very light but very effective. And for us who we did Abeka for K through 1st grade for the phonics program, this is just a wonderful way to wrap everything they have learned up and really solidify everything that they learned through their phonics program in Abeka. If you have not done Abeka, and for example, let's say you're doing all about reading, I still think that this is a great addition, and that's it. And it's super easy. Basically, 1 page front and back a day, and you'll be 5 days a week, and you'll be done with this book within 1 school grade. Because we started earlier, we're probably going to be done around March. Okay, so I'm going to put them aside. Next is Abeka Readers. Okay, Abeka reading program. Yes, Abeka has updated their reading program. If you follow me and you have read my 2nd grade review of Abeka is it 2nd grade? Yeah, 2nd grade review, where I switched my eldest son from using everything Abeka to a Timberdoodle custom kit, you know that we were not fans of the Abeka reading program comes to 2nd grade. However, that has changed now because they have updated their reading program, Abeka. And it is not boring out of our mind. We don't feel bored out of our mind like we were with our with my 2nd grader, who's now in 4th grade. And the stories are very interesting, entertaining. Kids enjoy them. There is a lot more guidance for us parents with the reading answering key. And they also have updated 3rd grade. So we are planning on using the 3rd grade reading program through Abeka as well. But anyway, let's go back to this one. It comes with 10 readers. And basically, let's say your child is reading Fun with Friends. We don't I pretty much do about, depending on how long the stories are. If they're super short, I'll do 3. If not, if they're longer, I'll do 2 stories a day. And they'll read it, and then I will go. So you get an idea. Let's say your son is reading Pets Are Fun. Okay, so I will go here on my reading. You will go here, Pets Are Fun, and it will give you all the questions and basically help and explanation that you will do with your child. It gives you all the reading comprehension that you should ask your children. It gives you even the answers that your children should give you. Some people say they don't need this in 2nd grade. Sure, you don't. To me, it makes my life easier. If somebody is guilty of doing something while your child is reading and maybe not paying attention 100%, like cooking or whatever it is, or answering an email, that's me. So when I ask a question, if I haven't heard every single word that he said, then depending on his answer, I know that if he's totally off or if he did understand it. So let's say I'll ask him, name something Magpie likes to eat. And the answer, the black part is the bold part is the part that he should answer. Oats, beans, nuts, or milk. Let's say he answers me ice cream, then I know that my son is completely making it up. And he didn't understand what he's reading. But if, for example, even if he doesn't give me all of them, he'll just say beans and nuts. And I'll say, is there anything else that he ate? And then he's like, milk? Sometimes he doesn't remember. Sometimes he just needs that extra push to remember. So that's why I love the answer key. And other reason I like this is because with the updated version of the reading program, they are finally teaching the kids more thinking skills and more about the parts of reading. Abeka always has been a great reading program, but I feel it's just more updated. It's a better integrated with all of the readers, and we started learning the settings of a story, the main characters, and so on. And I didn't have that guidance with the old version of 2nd grade. Moving along, we also use Abeka reading comprehension sheets too. Okay, love it, love it, love it. The old version of Abeka's reading skill sheets is pretty much focused on comprehension on a timer. Who cares? My main concern is that my child reads and he can understand. Speed will come naturally, and everyone will have their own speed on readings. Abeka has updated the reading comprehension skill sheets. They are nothing like what they used to be. They're actually not focused on time. At least we're halfway through it, but they're actually focused on what you see here, comprehension. Okay, so what you will have 13 different types of reading selections right here. 36. And each reading selection will focus on a different skill or on multiple different skills. Can you do this on your own? Absolutely. It is self-explanatory, like I said. However, by having the reading comprehension skill sheet parent edition will also teach so much more than just reading and answering the question. It will basically give you some pointers to teach them, for example, if you're talking about the main character, if you're talking about setting. The other day we did one of the assignments that we did was fact versus opinion. And for example, the fact versus opinion explanation that it gave me to explain the children what it was and some examples, you wouldn't find it here. You would just have a story that has some fact and opinion, but nothing explaining that what fact and opinion is. Where beforehand you have some pre-reading exercises or explanation that really lets them get it. And that's just to say this is worth the $12 I think that it cost. and it really adds maybe a couple of minutes extra to completing the reading comprehension skill sheet. The reading comprehension skill sheet only takes about 5 minutes in doing it. And if you follow a 36-week school session, then you'll do once a week. And we do 2 a week because we're going to have some breaks here and there. Sometimes we'll have appointments that we won't be able to do school. So by doing 2 a week, that helps me catch up for when we have to skip a day where we have to do the reading comprehension skill sheet. That's just how it works for me. All right, we are done with language arts. As you can see, I have written handwriting here, but I don't have anything. No, we're not doing handwriting this year. Why? I haven't really found any handwriting that I wanted to do, and I am not starting cursive yet because I want my child to continue practicing his manuscript. So he writes on everything he does, and that's how we're working on handwriting. And then next year we'll transition to learning cursive, but we're not transitioning to write everything in cursive. We just want him to learn and know about cursive. So we're done with that. We will be going to math. We use Math You See, and I have a full-on review on my website, Math You See Review, Primer and Up. You will find there the reviews for levels Primer, Alpha, Beta, Gamma, and Delta will be coming on at the beginning of the year. And so I'm not gonna go into details of how Math You See works. Go on, check my review on homeschoolingalong.com of Math You See, and you can see everything that the beta level covers and how it covers and how we like it. I can tell you that my son will do, he does it every day, 2 to 3 pages a day maybe. Sometimes he even does 1, it depends. But again, if you're interested to know more about Math You See, go on the website, homeschoolingalong.com, Math You See Review, Primer and Up, and look for the beta or whatever level you'll be doing and see if it's for you. Okay, critical thinking. We love our critical thinking choice. Well, when I switched to Timberdoodle a couple of years ago with my oldest child, this was one of the books that he had in his custom kit. I loved it, so I still use it with him. I use the next level with him, and now I'm using it again with his youngest brother. It's basically full of mind benders. Some parents like it, some parents don't like it, because there are some parts where the children get stumped. But I can tell you where the child gets stumped is where he learns the most. And where he doesn't get stumped, he learns because there are things that they're so easy, but at the same time, when I see them, I feel like, oh my gosh, I would have never thought of teaching that. So like it will teach them a pattern. You have to match a pattern to a group here. It teaches them a sequence, and it teaches them, this is a sequence in sizes. This is a sequence of how everything is going. And so it's great. There is some writing assignments. Now, when my oldest child did level 1 in 2nd grade, he was not strong in writing. And the writing assignments, some we skipped, some I had him tell me, and I will write it in for him. So if that's your child, don't let the writing assignments scare you off. Try to find more. Don't let these writing assignments scare you off, because see, I did a big fat wrong. That was one of my days. I was not having a good day. So with my eldest child, he would just tell me, and I would just write it in for him. So if that's one of your children, do that. Can you see what's wrong with the dog while he's crying? And if your child does write, is a good writer, or he can write his own sentences and his own thoughts, so he can put them down in paper, like my child can, then let him do it. Even with that, my child made some types of messes. And the point is not to do it perfect. The point is just get their mind going. We do 3 pages a day to get through this book. And 3 pages a day sound like a lot, but they go by very fast. Great addition. I highly recommend any parent. Doesn't matter which critical thinking book you use. Just use one. It's great. STEM. Ozoba Evo. It can be Lego. It can be anything of your liking. We just chose that. Okay, history. You'll see here the history. I have listed Florida History Ace Pack 1037 to 142. And then I have listed the Good and the Beautiful History one. However, these history choices are because I have 3 children and we combine history all together. But for 2nd grade, if this is your only child, then what we use with my first child is Abeka, Our America History Grade 2. It is very light and appropriate for this age. I will not advise you to go crazy with history at such a young age. History is a complicated, it's a very abstract subject for kids to relate to. It's hard for them to relate to. So I will keep it as simple and easy as possible. So you might be asking, why even bother? Because it is true in a lot of homeschool conventions, they actually advise you not to even do history up to 3rd grade. And if it overwhelms you, then it is perfectly fine because they will relearn anything that they are doing in their early grades. I decided to do it more just for exposure. Did I expect them to remember any of it? No. And in all honesty, my kids didn't. Maybe a thing here and there, then they will see something and it will look familiar. So like I said, in 2nd grade, history is mainly for exposure. And if it is your first child and you want to do it for exposure, then I advise you to try out Abeka 2nd grade. As you can see, it's a very thin book and nothing, that will bore them out of their mind. And that's what we used. What we're using, however, for 2nd grade is a completely different story. Like I said, I have multiple children, so we combine our history studies. And because we live in the state of Florida and my eldest son is in 4th grade, we chose to do state history. And I included my 2nd grader in the state history studies because, again, history is a subject that it's hard to relate to at a young age. But the state history of our own state, it is very interesting for him, and it's very relatable, and it's actually been a success. So if you live in the state of Florida, Pace Packs, it is a wonderful choice to use for your history. What I'm showing you here is it is 6 little thin books. And the initial plan was to do it for the first 6 weeks of our history studies, and then move on to the Good and the Beautiful History 1. However, in homeschooling, you'll learn that plans do change a lot of times as you go. And as we started the history packs, we started to love them. And it's just very relatable. It expands the knowledge of our state. It piques their curiosity. I'm learning so much from it too because I lived in Florida for over a decade, but I wasn't born here. And even if you're born here, there's so many things that you might not know. And it is there are a lot of pictures in them. They're real pictures. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful history course. So if you live in the state of Florida, I highly recommend the Pace Pack history course. It is Christian based, just so you know, if that is not your cup of tea. So I wouldn't go with it. For me, it was great because I like my kids to know that God is our creator. So moving right along, the Good and the Beautiful History 1 is a great choice to go on for 2nd grade because it's light. It is it covers basically from ancient times to almost today's days, if I'm correct. But don't quote me because we haven't started it yet. And in all honesty, because we have enjoyed Florida history so much, I don't know if we're going to get to the good and the beautiful this year. So, that's it for history. Second grade, daily geography lessons 2. Okay, this is the second time around that we use this book for second grade. You don't want to overwhelm yourself with your curriculum picks, because if it's something that it's not doable, it's only going to stress you out. And if it stresses you out, it's not going to work. So it's worth for you to do something that it's less demanding, and at least you do it, than picking something that it looks so great, but it's going to require so much time and effort out of you, and then you don't do it. So what's the point? That's just my view on picking my homeschool curriculums. So daily geography grade 2, it's something doable. It didn't require too much time out of me, and it didn't require too much effort for me to teach it. And mostly for a second grader, it was simple enough, relatable, and my child learned a lot. Mostly daily geography, what my child got out of it is how to use directions, how to learn how to read a map, cardinal directions, reading maps of all sorts and types, map keys, yes, as I go through it, map keys, even weather maps. This is a wonderful, wonderful book. And how it works is, for example, there are 36 weekly lessons, and you can choose to do them in all different ways. Some people, as you can see, it's divided in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, so you can choose to do a little section a day. Okay, you start it off. This is the lesson, and it's super simple. You go through this in 3 minutes. You basically explain them, how to use a map key, and then you can decide to do this little section for each day. With my first son, when I did it, he would do all of it in one day. So we will only do geography once a week. With my second born, he's doing 1 page per day. So basically we do geography 2 times a week. It is very self-explanatory. All you have to do is sit with your child and explain this in 2 minutes. And after you explain this, they go over here and they can do this work independently. And again, it's your choice how to break this up. But as you can see, minimal time. It's really not time consuming, very effective. Sometimes parents think that you need something that is very elaborate for kids to get something out of it. I don't necessarily find that true. Sometimes I feel that less is more, especially at this young age. If you bombard them with information, most of it is just going to go over their head. You'll lose their attention span, and you're wasting your time. So that's it for geography. Let me move this aside. What do we got next? All right, we're moving right into science. Oh, science. This year has been wonderful, and I have to give thanks to the good and the beautiful science units. I have purchased at least 6 or 7 different science units, but this year we are doing marine biology, which is a free printout, download and print out by the good and the beautiful. If you don't want to print it out and download it, then you can buy it. Marine biology, we do it twice a week. And sometimes we don't get to it twice a week and we only do it once a week. Anyway, each unit comes with 13 to 14 lessons. So you can easily do 3 to 4 units a year. I'm shooting for no more than 3 units a year, because what's the point of me again bombarding them with information just to get through it, and then they don't really understand it, or we're rushing through. I'm kind of over rushing. I have done that for the first 2 to 3 years of my homeschooling life. Yay, I checked off the box, but what did my kids get out of it? That's what I ask myself. So, and this attitude is only going to come with time. So you'll get there if you are a beginner. But what I loved about the good and the beautiful marine biology, I have nothing else than good things to say about the good and the beautiful science units. They are easy, but they are so full of beautiful information, pictures. Their lessons flow so easily. Sometimes they have little experiments, and I was never a big science experiment gal. Actually, I've never done one. It was just, I didn't have the time. But the experiments that they include in this unit are so doable and not time consuming and so effective. The kids just love them. And I love how you can sit down and do a science lesson in 20 minutes. And truly, kids get a lot out of it. They tell you to do a science wall. So I just get from the Dollar Tree those cardboard walls. And what you see attached to it, all is included in the science unit. And you can do the science wall however it makes sense to you. Some people add things and make them super pretty. That's great. I just want it to be effective, and I am really, again, if it's too complicated, I'm not going to do it. So I slap the stuff there. It makes sense for them. They are like, yeah, we're doing a science wall, and they're happy, and it works. Another great thing that I want to say about the good and the beautiful marine biology thing is that at the end of certain lessons, they tell you to go, they give you ideas. Let me see if I can find it here. They tell you to go on YouTube. Okay, so a lot of times they tell you you can go on YouTube and watch this video at the end of the lessons. And basically, after you did a lesson, then you go on YouTube and you see these free videos. And it just ties everything together that they just learned. What a wonderful experience. They also give you a list of books that you can go to the library and rent and read. Again, just to tie everything together with them. You can read it to them. The kids can read them. They're based upon, different age levels. Anyway, I cannot say enough good things about this. Some people are worried about the religious content in here. That is just trying to teach kids that everything that you see around you is God's creation, regardless of what Christian denomination you are from or whatever religion you come from. They're trying to teach you that everything you see around you is from God's creation. And if you believe that, this is definitely worth your time, your money, and the effort. If you don't believe that and you want a more secular approach, this is not for you. Okay. So let's move right along. For science, we also do Dr. Bonafide. Last year we did Dr. Bonafide book 1. This year it's book 2. Love it, love it, love it. It teaches kids about their bones. Book number 2, they will be learning about the bones of their foot, leg, and pelvis. Super colorful, super duper fun. Usually when I read it, I can do 5 to 6 pages because it's very light in content, but very, again, effective. And then Dr. Bonafide comes with x-ray glasses, which are these. And the kids put them on. Let me see if I can put them on the thing. The kids put them on and they read the secret message. I don't know if you can read it with oops, I don't know if you can read it with the camera, but you see the secret message. Let me take this off. You can't see it. And then you put these glasses on and there's a secret message. So kids get a kick out of it. They look forward to it. My kids begged me to do Dr. Bonafide. So I added it to their science course. And there is 4 books of Dr. Bonafide. We started last year in 1st grade. And with book 1, and in 2nd grade we're doing book 2. Why am I doing this? Because I have a 4th grader. So my son started this in 3rd grade, and I included my 1st grader. So if this is your first child, you don't have to do Dr. Bonafide, and you can wait to 3rd grade. I'm just showing you what we use for 2nd grade. But again, I do this because I have a 4th grader who is doing Dr. Bonafide. He started in 3rd grade. because he's doing it, I combine my science and history studies. And most of the people with multiple children do that, because if not, it will be impossible. But I just want to let you know that for second grade, this is very, very appropriate. So if you do want to do it and you're just starting, yes, you can do book one. Your child will truly enjoy it. But if you want to wait because maybe you're overwhelmed because you're maybe already doing a lot, definitely you can. We started when my eldest son was in third grade. And if you hear the squeaking noise, that's my 5-year-old who's here playing. When my eldest child was in second grade, we did do health, safety, and manners. Reader, grade 2. This is from Abeka, okay? Do you have to? No. If it is your first year homeschooling, or if it's your second year homeschooling, or whatever year it is, if you feel overwhelmed by what you're doing, don't bother adding this. I was okay adding it. Why? Because I'm super mom? No, because I'm stubborn and I wanted to. So, but if it is in you that you want to add health and safety manners, or if your state requires you, I do know that certain states require you to do it, then the Abeka one is a good choice, because look how thin it is. And but it does add great little things, which is teaching them to brush their teeth, teaching them to wash their hands, teaching them how exercise is important. And they also make it fun. They show an elephant, so they're teaching them to do the elephant swings and the ostrich run. So they're making it interesting for them. And they're also teaching them some health and some manners. For example, how to brush your teeth, how to floss. Of course, if they're going to the dentist, they're already learning it. But again, repetition for the kids is very important. And here it is. So as you can see, it's written with bigger letters. It's not something too heavy in content, but it is a very interesting. Teaches them about courtesy and kindness. Don't we really need this in today's world? So if you have it in you to do it, or if your state requires you, I love, love, love the Abeka second grade health and safety manners. That's that. And art, miscellaneous. And I'm not artsy. I'm not a good drawer. My kid in second grade, my eldest child in second grade, did not know how to draw anything, and I felt sad for him. And I came across this book because that year for second grade we used a custom Timberdoodle curriculum, and I actually liked it. It taught my children how to draw. So it's a step-by-step drawing book, and they did it all from first to end, and sometimes they would do more than one a day. And now my 5-year-old is using it, and I'm telling you, it's an Osborne book. It is really effective. So if you want to do this, that's great. It's perfect for second grade level, and the kids really, really enjoy it. If your child maybe has already done step-by-step drawing and he's a step ahead, another one that I really, really liked is the Draw Right Now series. There are 8 different books, and it basically adds them. Where the Osborne book is more elementary, then this one, they'll add a little bit more to them. It's still a step-by-step, but it's not so elementary. It will add a little bit more to make it look more real. And then it gives them an idea of how they can put it into a picture and color it. And there's also a little bit of writing that goes to it. If you want to do it, you don't have to do the writing. We actually never did. But we love them. And my kids, still to this day, on their time off, they get and they do it. So I find that these books, the Draw Right Now series, it's a great thing to move on after you do the step-by-step drawing book. But if your kids already know how to do the step-by-step drawing book, or if they are decent drawers and you want to move a step forward, I find this to be a great choice, because it adds a little bit more detail to it, and then it goes and gives them an idea of how they can put it into a picture and color it to make it look more real. And that's that. All right. I wish you a great second grade year, and keep on homeschooling along. My next video will be showing you what we're using for 4th grade. Bye.